Ja, willkommen, bienvenue, welcome, and most importantly, moin moin, to the videos in economics or about economics. Microeconomics and macroeconomics will be the two series of videos, and here just a hello and welcome to give you an idea of how these videos in the video series works. My name is Peter Schmidt. I teach economics and statistics at the Hochschule Bremen, the Bremen University of Applied Sciences in northern Germany. That's where the Moin Moin comes from. And this is the building, obviously, where most of the classes in person take place, the Werderstraße in Bremen. And that's the one orientation, as most of the students who use these videos study at Hochschule Bremen. The question will be, why economics? Why do you have to study economics? And what are the questions behind the topic? What are the themes that we are going to deal with? We're going to do this based on a book, on a textbook, the book Economics for Business by David Begg and Damien Ward, in the 6th edition. And you see a bit of the table of contents here. The book is one orientation, and sort of the orientation that shows you more also dynamically what happens in this class is the webpage, is my webpage, schmidtbremen.de, where you find information about your classes. On this start page, landing page, Schmidt Bremen, we get information about the services that I offer, typically the current situation of the economy, examples, and so on. But most importantly, you see here on the left-hand side that there are these modules available. And let's just take one of those, Economics 1 in the program IFA. That's the basic starting page. And on this starting page, you get quite some information. Let's say, besides inviting you to use current news and to follow current news, there is more information, basic information about the class, how the class works, what is expected, what is the assessment. The important parts are the very first link, assessment about this class. And of course, it will be a bit different for your class. But basically here you find the important things, more about the presentation. There is quite some information also available here, and about our concept of the flipped classroom. And that's what we would like to talk about. Here you find typically the link to the structure, the time schedule for your very class. That depends on the timetable, which days it takes place, and so on. Flipped classroom basically means you are expected to prepare and to watch, to read the book, watch the videos, and so on, use the material that you are provided with. The webpage itself is organized in that way that after giving you some overview about the current developments in economy, is organized in that way. You always have number of the session and then the week. And as we typically have 14 weeks, we will have 28 classes. So in week 1, session 2, in week 2, 3 and 4, and so on. Obviously, in the first class, we start with an introduction. Why economics? What is economics about? But also the question, what is it that you might have in mind that you expect from our class? Yeah, you see here background information. There are links in this middle column, prepare for today and activities, plus the background material, which gives you more insight towards this. When we go through the classes, you see that, first of all, of course, we start with introduction, with general topics, but then already here in session 4, in week 2, in this case, 23rd October, but they can be different depending on the class. There's the first time where you are requested to prepare homework. It says prepare chapters 2.1 or sub-chapters 2 and 2.3 from our book, and watch the video that is connected to this. As we learned earlier, the the book itself and the PowerPoint slides are available. So this is a view into the slides of chapter 2. For this example, the table of contents says there are these subchapters, and we just said the first task is to think about subchapters 2.2, introducing demand curves, and 2.3, factors influencing demand. This is what we see here. Read these chapters and prepare with the material. So the one is the link to a YouTube video, and the other is a link to a Mural board, which is the virtual whiteboard that I typically use in class, and both is background information for you. When we go to the video itself, then you can see here it's a video, it's a part of a playlist about microeconomics, and it has 32 minutes in this case. You can also see that there are parts, subchapters. So if you click here, you see the different parts. You will be able to navigate within the video and don't have to search with the minutes, but there's the partial analysis. Here we talk about the value table, and at the end typically there's a bit of a wrap-up that concludes the video, and that might help you to find this information. And in these videos, on the one hand, of course, starting and then saying hello, introducing the parts of the table of contents, then I go ahead and go to this Mural board, an empty board, and start writing on this Mural board that you can see here. In following the video, this is going to fill, and at the end of the video, obviously the class board is full, contains the information that belongs to that video. So if we go here to the very end, you see that there's quite some information on the board. And this information, this board, is the Mural board that we opened earlier. So when we go to this tab, you see that the board that used to be empty at the beginning is now filled. This is the board that I use during the video, and you will be able, when you watch the video later, to go to this board and check exactly, okay, what is written there, what are the different parts. You cannot write here, but you have a view access, but you can open an own board and you can copy parts of this. You can change them. Let's say this graph, you could copy this, put it into your own board, and then experiment with this. Also, something like homework that might occur from time to time is then found on this Mural board. We came from the web page and we started here, read chapter 2.2 and 2.3, using the material, using the book, using the PowerPoint presentation, both available in OLIS, but also using the video, which you can of course stop and rewind and whatever until you get what I say there. And now that there's a crucial point, if you don't understand everything, I mean, I can also be not completely clear, or it might be that things are more complicated to understand than I think. That's exactly the idea. You prepare until a specific point, and then you can ask in class. You can say, okay, Peter, I watched that video and I'm fine until minute 13, but there you say something that I don't understand or that I can follow, or I would contradict. I understand what you say, but I contradict. I would say, I see it differently. That's all very welcome. That's the idea of an inverted classroom. You prepare, you come to class, and then we talk about it. I answer your questions. Questions that show, okay, yes, you did prepare, you know what I said in the videos, you found what is in the book, and then we talk about it. I'm going to answer all your questions that show, okay, you are in the topic, you are within the matter, and we go further. I'm not going to answer any questions in the direction of, I didn't get anything, can you start at the beginning, can you explain everything again, and so on. That's not the idea, that's not what we are going to do in class, but you have to prepare, and then we have time enough in order to go on and in order to discuss the topics. After having answered your questions, we go ahead and you see that there are frequently some tasks here. Find a real-world example for a demand curve. Which sources did you use? These are typically teamworks. Yeah? Also up here you see teamwork tasks. That's what we spend the class time with. Yeah? You spend the time before preparing, and in class we use that time in order to discuss with each other. And there will also be time during the class hours when we are finished with our discussion. We can finish sort of the class, and then you have time enough to prepare the next step, the next video, read the next stuff, and so on. That's what makes an interactive class. That's what makes a flipped classroom. The webpage itself contains more information about the tests, for example. You heard about that there are 6 tests, and the 5 best tests will be counted. So you can see here, okay, first test is in session 7, which is typically in week 4. In this case, 4th November, but that can be different for you. But that's the example. So we know, okay, what will be the content of test 1. This is what we typically discuss the week before. So you know, okay, this is going to come. So you see test 1 in session 7, test 2 in session 11, and so on. Also the presentations, the team presentations, you have the time schedule here. First presentation in session 8, a second presentation in session 12, and so on. So that's condensed information on these web pages. I'm aware that there's a lot to be read and to be understood, but we have time enough. We're going to meet every week, and if something is not clear, I'm very, very happy if you say this in class and we just talk about it. One link here on the left-hand side below the concrete classes that I teach that semester is called EconSteps, and EconSteps is an overview which gives us the structure, you could say the table of content of our video, mostly of the YouTube links. The YouTube channel is also called EconSteps, so you find it here with that link, or you go directly to YouTube and you search EconSteps. Up here you find exactly this video, that's what we are talking about at the moment. And then down here you have the table of contents you see for the chapters in Microeconomics, Chapter 2, Video 1, Chapter 2, Video 2, Chapter 3, Video 1, and so on, and then Macroeconomics, which starts in Chapter 9, and so on. So this is where you get an orientation, and when you want to go back to something, you don't have to scroll back and forth our class webpage, but you can use this EconSteps here. So I'm now very much looking forward to realizing this project and this interactive learning with a flipped classroom together with you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in class, to answering your questions, to discussing the different viewpoints that you have. Be very welcome, and see you in class.